All right, Detroit Lions fans' wildest dreams may be about to come true because we are actually potentially Super Bowl contenders. And with us today here on Book Talks at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing is our author, Barry Schumer, who wrote an amazing book about the Detroit Lions. Welcome, Barry.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
I'm so excited. Your book is so awesome. Can you just talk a little bit about your book and why you wrote it?
Sure. Well, let's just start with the fact of the Detroit Lions, after going 14-6 last year with two playoff wins, the first playoff win since 1991, they turn around and have a season where they're 15-2 and three wins away from winning the Super Bowl. So Lion fans are in this dream state, and I really think it's going to happen this year. My book, I don't believe it. We're good. The New Detroit Lions is the fourth edition that I first wrote back in 2007 as a frustrated Lions fans because of all the losing over 65 years
Mhm.
could literally drive you crazy. It drove many people crazy. And now we've got the Dan Campbell era, the Brad Holmes era, the Sheila Ford era, and we are a totally different team. We're a contending team. Many people picked us to win the Super Bowl this year before we had all the series of very difficult injuries the team went through. And I'll be honest, myself, a few weeks ago, I was feeling like maybe we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. We just have too many injuries to overcome. We lost too many starters. But the performance against Minnesota this past weekend and what Aaron Glenn did with the defense was incredible. And it has given me the hope again that maybe we can win the Super Bowl, even with all the people we've lost.
I love it. I love it. Can you hold up your book, please?
I sure can. It's right here.
Yes.
There you go.
Really cool. I love your topic and your cover is just gorgeous. So
Thank you very
and
much.
Mary does this super detailed history of the Lions, covering all the losing games and all the highs and lows, 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 and all the things you need to know as a Lion that you Lions fan that you probably already know, but Barry has a way of putting it all together that's very engaging and high energy. And you can get the book at twosisterswriting.com or anywhere that you buy books online. So, Barry, having written the book on it, what are your thoughts now? How are you feeling? I know you're in Florida, so you're not here at the games in Detroit, but just how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling fantastic. It was a huge win against the Vikings Sunday night to give us the number one seed in the NFC. This team, I've never quite seen a team with this kind of chemistry, love for each other, and love for their head coach.
Mhm,
This team will do anything to get Dan Campbell this Super Bowl championship.
mhm,
And it's really quite amazing. I've been through the years with the Red Wings and Iserman winning Stanley Cups. I've been through Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons winning championships, and the Detroit Tigers with Kirk Gibson and Al Kaline winning World Series. But I've never seen a team like this that has this amazing cohesion and
mhm,
this unbelievable respect and love for their head coach, Dan Campbell.
mhm.
It's really quite amazing to see. You know, Campbell's a very emotional guy, and this is part of why the team really cares about him and wants to work so hard to get to this point. I'm telling you, if we win the Super Bowl, Campbell, the players, and all the fans in Detroit will be crying like babies.
It's so exciting. So talk about the projected path to the Super Bowl. How do we get there?
Well, we're going to watch this weekend as the wild card teams are playing. The Lions get the week off because they have the best records. You get a bye week. And, you know, we're going to get since we're the number one seed, we will play the lowest seed that is left in the tournament. Right now, the lowest seed is the Green Bay Packers, but the Packers have to go play the Philadelphia Eagles. They could win that, but I don't think they will. And then the next lowest seed is the Washington Commanders, and they're playing down here in Tampa Bay. And if they beat Tampa Bay, that's the team the Lions would get if the Packers lose at Philadelphia. The
Mhm,
other possibilities are playing either Minnesota if they beat the Rams
mhm.
or the Rams if they beat Minnesota. Those are the four possibilities for the following weekend. Most people think that we're going to end up playing for the NFC Championship. if we can get by the first week, at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. The two top teams in the NFC are Detroit and Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, Barry, tell me about your game day. Like, what do you do? What do you wear? Do you have a party? Do you serve food? Are you like revved up? How does it
I'm
go?
very revved up. In fact, I wake up any Sunday morning and first thing I say to my wife, it took me a long time for her to get used to it because she's not a football fan. I always ask her, do you know what day it is? And now she'll throw her arms up and go, game day. It's pretty funny.
I love it. I love
And then
it.
I go watch the game with my Detroit buddies that I met down here in Florida. We go to the
Okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings, about 10 of us.
Uh-huh.
We're just having a good time and having a few drinks, that kind of thing. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking of making a big party for the game coming up in a week and a half,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
inviting a lot of people because it's going to be a big deal
At your house?
at my house.
Okay, okay, okay. I love that.
I'm also working on Super Bowl tickets for New Orleans February 9th. Got some
Oh,
connections. I'd love to be there in person if the Lions make it.
oh, that would be amazing for you. Oh
It
my
would.
goodness. So, Barry, when you're not cheering on the Lions, you are a therapist. And the last time I interviewed you, I asked about the psychology of being a sports fan because it's still mysterious to me why people get so revved up and so emotionally engaged in their hometown team, even when they're losing. Can you talk about why people love to follow a team, cheer for a team, and just declare that they are the most loyal fan?
You know, it is. It's a very interesting phenomenon. I write about it quite a bit in the book. Um, and what I've come to discover, Elizabeth, is that people need an escape from life, the pressures of life, the stresses of life. And professional athletes, they give that break. They give that break people need, something to get away from your troubles, away from your stresses. And it's just a great thing. And if you look at the NFL, what's happened in football, it's become the number one sport in the country because football reflects quite a bit about what life is about. Life is about getting knocked down and getting back up again, going
Mm.
through tough times and persevering through them. Well, we've seen our Detroit Lions do that with all the major injuries, serious injuries to their players, and they just won't quit. They won't quit. Even if they're sub players or reserve players coming in, they still feel they can do it. So I think that's part of why what appeals about athletes. On Sunday, people want to forget their troubles. They don't want to worry about things, their stresses and things they got to do on Monday. So it's just a great escape. Professional
Mhm,
sports is a great escape, and
mhm,
that's why I think it's so popular.
mhm. And what about the sort of phenomenon of finding your tribe? Like you found your people down in Florida who are Detroit Lions fans, and you feel this wonderful affinity and joy when you're with them because you share this common passion for the game and the team. So what is that? What's the psychology behind that?
Well, the psychology behind that is just, again, everybody's proud of the city they come from.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's very meaningful. There's just a sense of pride. And when I meet somebody from Michigan or the Detroit area, there's an instant connection,
Uh-huh.
especially with being a big, football fan in the Lions right now. So, like if you're out of the country and you meet somebody from your country, if you're in France or Spain and you meet somebody from the United States, there's a connection
Mhm.
because everybody's proud of where they come from. I
Mhm.
think that's part of it. The Lions are just what they've given the city is just amazing. They
Mhm.
feed off the energy from the fans, and the fans feed off the energy from the team.
Mhm. Mhm. That is so exciting. It's amazing when you're downtown on game day. It's like a river of Honolulu blue and silver,
It
and
is.
everybody is so excited, and the restaurants are packed, and it's just this wonderful celebration. Were you here for the NFL draft?
I just came back from Florida. I know 700,000 people came over 3 days.
Right.
It was unbelievable. It was the greatest number of people that have ever come to an NFL draft. So Detroit's a real football town. And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, if they win this thing February 9th in New Orleans, you will see the biggest parade you have ever seen in Detroit. I don't care if it's 10 degrees outside. There'll be 1.5 million people showing up.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, what's it like for you day to day between games? Are you just constantly speculating and talking about it or just staying
Well,
full?
Yeah, between it seems like forever. These 2 weeks are going to feel like forever to me.
Hmm.
So what I do is I look up things, what's going on with the team, anything new. I watch national programs to see what they're saying about the Lions. But it really is sort of torture for me. Just the 7 days, waiting 7 days is now we're waiting 14 days since we have this week off. So this next 2 weeks is going to feel like 2 months to me.
Uh-huh.
I'll
Uh-huh.
tell you, you talked about the book. One of the funny chapters in the book
Hmm.
is on long-term mental health concerns for Lions fans. I talked to you about it before
Yeah.
because the team could get to you so much. And I'll tell you, there are Lion fans today, even with the success we've had, that still suffer from PTSD,
Oh,
post-traumatic stress disorder, for all the losing over the years. I'll give
mhm.
you two examples. My brother Chuck, if the Lions are playing poorly or the other team comes back, he has to shut the TV off, leave the room, and just check the score on his phone because it
Oh,
reminds him of the 65 years of losing.
oh my
I have
goodness.
another friend. This is an interesting story, Larry, that when they were in the NFC Championship game last year, they ended up losing in the second half. When San Francisco came back to tie the game 24-24, I think, he shut the TV off and went to sleep, assuming they were going to lose because of what happened over 65 years. I don't know how anybody can be a fan, shut the TV off when you're 20 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl and the game's tied. But
Oh,
those are
wow.
examples of people that they have been mentally shaken by what happened over 65 years.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh.
But now it's a new era, very new era.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So what are some other takeaways from the book, Barry, that you'd like people to understand?
Well, I think they'll find some of the statistics very interesting. And we've had some great players in Lion history, obviously Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. But the current players today, I'll tell you, it's very interesting. I talk about the leadership of Dan Campbell, and he's an amazing leader. He's one of the greatest motivators I've ever seen. The other great leader we have is Jared Goff. Our quarterback is having an MVP kind of year.
Mhm.
Most fans don't understand that Sunday night against Minnesota, he broke the all-time NFL record for most games by a quarterback throwing over 75% completions. He has 9 games this year now that he's done that. He broke the record of Tom Brady. Anytime you break a record of Tom Brady, that's doing something. So that didn't get a lot of publicity.
Oh,
I love golf. I love golf. A couple years ago, I was at a game when the Ravens, Justin Tucker kicked a 66-yard field goal in Detroit, hit the crossbar, went over the longest field goal in NFL history. And after the game, Goff said something interesting. He said, "There's going to be no more gut punches for Lion fans." And they've
mm,
come through with this in the last 3 years now.
hmm,
The other statistic that is currently very interesting is our star running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. What he did this past weekend, the last game of the year, he became one of only 3 running backs in the history of the NFL to average 6.4 yards per scrimmage play, running or passing, okay, anytime he touches the ball, and getting over 20 touchdowns, getting 20 touchdowns in a year. Only 2 players in history have done that. Marshall Faulk in 2000 and Gale Sayers in 1965. And
wow.
now in his second year, he's accomplished this major, major feat. He's a superstar in the making.
I love it. I love it. So you talked about the team leadership being amazing. You talked about the team chemistry being phenomenal. So what do you attribute this turnaround to?
Well, the credit has to go to Sheila Ford, who took off over the team in 2021. She brought in, the first thing she did is brought in Chris Spielman, our all-pro linebacker, as her consultant. And together they went out and hired Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. So those 3 decisions by Sheila Ford obviously is why we're here today. But really, the team of Chris Spielman and our GM and Dan Campbell have been absolutely amazing. And most of the credit's got to go to Dan Campbell. He's just an incredible leader. And he's really brought a new era into football. The way he's a gambler, we call him Gambling Dan,
Mhm.
because he goes up for it so often on fourth down, and he'll do fake punts, and he'll do things that most coaches traditionally don't do. But it's
Mhm.
worked for him. So Sheila Ford started this, and then the 3 major hires have continued it.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. So Are you going to write another book, Barry?
Not right now, but you know what? In my first edition of this book, I said something that was it's sort of funny that there was a fake headline saying the Lions win the Super Bowl, and it was in the When Pigs Fly edition. Okay. So my interview I just did this past week for Channel 7, I said to Chuck Stokes, I said, look, Chuck, on Sunday, February 9th, you look outside your window, you might just see some flying pigs.
Good one. That is so cute. So, this is a great segue to announce that you will be on Channel 7 Spotlight with Chuck Stokes Saturday. What's the date Saturday? The no, Sunday, right?
Sunday morning, right?
Sunday morning at what time do you know?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Channel 7 Detroit. And then that's January 12th, so this coming Sunday. And those for who can't catch it, or if you're watching this afterwards, I'll put the link once I get it so people can watch Barry on Channel 7, the local ABC affiliate here in Detroit. And that is going to be phenomenal because Chuck interviewed you before.
Yes.
You always rock the interview with your information, your energy. It's really engaging. And so I'm certain that this one will be the same to rev all those Lions fans up to share your perspectives
Thank you,
about.
Elizabeth. Thank you. I appreciate it. I told Chuck during the interview, and fans will get a kick out of this. I'm so confident. I'm so into this team. I've been a fan since I'm 10 years old. And I'm so into them that I made a bet last summer with a friend, $100 bet, that the Lions would win two of the next five Super Bowls.
Ooh,
So I need this one, February 9th, and
uh-huh.
then one more the following 4 years to win that bet.
Well, that would be
That's
phenomenal.
how confident I am in this team. They are going to win two of the next five Super Bowls.
That is so, so exciting. So, Barry, do you think that the curse of Bobby Lane has finally lifted?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, you see, because back a couple years ago, when Campbell first came here, we had a little ritual ceremony at Ford Field with Jeff Daniels, the actor, and
Uh-huh.
Peyton Manning, the famous football player. They had a bathtub in the end zone filled with alcohol because Bobby Lane liked to drink. And they did like some magic spells, and supposedly that was getting rid of the curse of Bobby Lane, right? So this year, Elizabeth, I'm sitting there while the Lions are going through those horrific kinds of injuries to Aiden Hutchinson and to McNeil and Davis, and all these players got hurt. Davenport, Anzalone, Barnes, I mean, Montgomery, we've had one injury after another. I'm thinking to myself, which was worse? The curse of Bobby Lane when we were terrible for 65 years and had no expectations of winning, or the fact that we now are picked to win the Super Bowl and all our players get hurt?
Ooh.
Which is more painful? You see what I mean? You know, which is more difficult to deal with? But, you know, even with the players being hurt, Campbell has figured out a way to still put a great team on the field, and I think we can still do it. But yeah,
Mhm.
let's hope the curse of Bobby Lane is over.
Yes, I love that ritual with the bathtub. That is so
It
fun.
was fun. It was fun.
So, what other kind of feedback have you received about your book?
Well, fans love it. They think it's entertaining. They think it's funny. Brings back some bad memories. That's not the focus of the book. The new chapters are all about the Campbell era and how things are going forward. But one of the chapters, the top 20, I don't believe it, moments in Lions history, most true Lion fans recognize most of them because they remember those times. They remember when they were slamming the TV and shutting it off. And again, we had too many times on Sunday night when we felt sort of down and going back to work on Monday. Now we're winning and everything feels better in life.
Hmm. I love it. So, what's your favorite Lions gear? Is it a jersey, a hat? What is it?
Well, this is my new shirt. You
I
can
like
see,
it.
I just
Can
got
you
it
lift
last
up?
week.
Hard to see the whole thing. Can you lift up for a sec? Oh, there you go. I love
Yeah, it's
it.
black and white, and it's
Uh-huh.
got the lines on the side,
Oh, okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
This is my new shirt. I got about four lion shirts.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we all get dressed up and watch the game on Sundays. It's fantastic. I'll
Mhm.
tell you, I'll read to you real quick. One of my page, this is from page 184, a very brief thing in my book.
Sure.
This will give fans a sense of why I wrote this book.
Mhm.
And it was about Chris Spielman, our consultant now with Sheila Ford. He was a phenomenal linebacker. And when my buddy used to work the games for the Lions, and it was known that Spielman would watch film all night at the Silverdome, and he would sleep there and just get ready for the game Sunday at the Silverdome. That's what a dedicated pro he was.
Mhm.
And I wrote about, in sort of tribute to Chris Spielman, he's one of my favorite players. Everything about why I wrote this book became clear. It's about passion for players and fans. It's about hard work and keeping the faith. It's about loving your team and your city. And
Hmm.
that was an honor of Chris Spielman because he's been a major person here in putting this team together.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. That is awesome, Barry. Your book is so well written and so fun, engaging. Like you said, it's funny, but it's got the low points too. And it just shows the dedication and loyalty that you, as a fan, and so many others have to the team. Do you think that moving from the Silverdome to Ford Field is part of the winning formula?
Well, probably had nothing to do with it. You know, the winning formula was more having the proper head coach and general manager and the
Mhm.
proper owner. But it's nice to be back in the city of Detroit where they were from. They
Yeah.
started out in, Tiger Stadium, Briggs Stadium, and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure the physical location did it. It's more who's running the team and the decisions that are being made. And I just
Mhm.
want to say part of the reason the re book reads so well is because I had a great publisher.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor when you called, and it was just a thrill because I learned so much about the team and about just sports culture in editing the book and publishing. And your cover's really, really fun. So, do you encourage other Lions fans to write a book about their experiences?
Well, it's not an easy thing to do. You got to be very patient, and it took me quite a while to do it. But hey, if you have a love for it and interest in writing, I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it with the fourth edition and all the things that come with it.
Mhm, mhm.
So
And so Barry, when we win the Super Bowl, how will you celebrate?
I hope to be celebrating right in New Orleans,
Uh-huh.
right there, going absolutely crazy when the final buzzer goes off.
Huh?
And I want to be there for 5 days and have one great party celebrating something that will be amazing. I will not be coming to the parade in Detroit because you
Oh.
could not pay me enough money to come back into that weather.
Okay. But being at the Super Bowl is everything. I really hope that they come through with your tickets and that you get to go with a group of friends, fans.
That would be fun. I got a good buddy back home that I'd probably help get a ticket because he's taken me to a lot of Lions games.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So then how do you make it to the next season? Like that's a long stretch to go without the thrill.
I
I
got
mean,
to tell you, from now it used to be our season was over by October, November
hmm.
because we were so bad we couldn't win. We were already talking about the draft in April by October, November. Now our season that doesn't end until the end of January into February.
Mhm.
Last year it didn't end until the end of January when we lost in the NFC Championship. So it's a shorter time period now till training camp. Training camp starts in July. But I'm telling you, between February and July, Lion fans don't know what to do with themselves. Now, I have the good fortune of being down here in Florida. I'm a golfer, so I golf a lot.
Okay.
But everybody's anticipating the draft in April, camp starting in July, and there's nothing more fun than September coming and our
Mhm.
boys going back to the gridiron.
Yay! That's so exciting. That's so exciting. So, everybody, please check out Barry's interview on the ABC affiliate Channel 7, WXYZ, here in Detroit on Sunday, January 12th at 10 a.m. with Chuck Stokes. It's going to be phenomenal. And if you miss it, I will put the link here once I get it. I will also put a link to Barry's book, which you can purchase at twosisterswriting.com or anywhere books are sold online. You can get it in paperback and ebook. And Barry, any final words about the Lions and the Super Bowl that you'd like to share, as well as about your book?
That's all I can tell you is that this has been such a fun ride. The Lions are 37 and 10 in their last 47 games they played since 2022. We don't want it to end. We don't want it to end till February 9th in New Orleans.
Mm.
when we hopefully beat probably the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills.
Mhm. Mhm.
And just enjoy the next month. It's historic, Lion fans, historic.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, Barry, thank you for being this wonderful, wise voice about the Lions, cheering us all on. Your book is phenomenal, and I really, really appreciate. We are honored to be your publisher here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on again.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope maybe when we win, you can come back on and talk about your experience in New Orleans. How would that
I
be?
will be glad to do that. That would be my pleasure.
Okay. Thank you, Barry. Enjoy Florida for all of us that are here in Michigan in the cold and gray.
I will, Elizabeth.
All right. Enjoy. And everybody, please get Barry's book. It is outstanding. And stay tuned for hopefully Detroit Lions Super Bowl win 2025. Go Lions.
Go Lions. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Thank you, Barry.
Bye.